Welcome back everyone to Let's Play Kerbal Space Program, episode number 16 now. It's only episode number 16 because, in fact, my previous episode was 2 episodes. I was expecting that last one, which ended up being, as I said, about 2 hours of recording time. I was targeting that to be 1 video, but yeah, that did not happen, and I decided to show enough of the negative stuff, which was probably the most entertaining part of this series so far. I decided to show... I cut the crap out of that thing, but it was too much time to get the successful part in the same video. Anyway, we have a burn coming up here. I just hit spacebar, which Alt-L makes me want to do that so I don't accidentally stage something. What was I trying to say? Yeah, we have a stage coming up. We have a staging coming up right now, and I wanted to do one experiment first. Basically, the one thing I want to check is, can we get enough electricity into... I'm trying to figure out why I'm not getting credit mission-wise for rendezvousing, and also, yeah, the docking itself, which obviously we did, and I dare say it was quite painful. I would not want to repeat it. We won't have to repeat it without RCS and batteries. That's just insane. That's like difficulty max. However, if I have a chance here, what I'd like to do is let's put almost all of our battery into this, just enough so that we have a little bit of electric charge left in both of them. Okay, now this should last a while. Let's do a quick undocking. I said let's do a quick undocking, and I am controlling from there. Good. So I just want to separate by enough. Let's first of all see, am I able to control this thing? This is under control, is it not? If I do like a tap, it is rotating, yes. Okay, so this is under my control. I want to go back to the other one. I just want to tap shift and recombine. Give me it. Nope. Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to work that way, unfortunately. Anyways, we'll continue to control from here. We'll turn off this so that we don't waste the battery. In fact, actually, we should turn that back on. Let me put all of it in here. So out, in, out, in. I don't know why it does this. In. Oh my god, we already missed the burn. This is stupid stuff. Okay, turn it on and just get over here. I hope this is the right way. Is this the right way? Yes, it is for now. Okay. We'll start using the electric charge. I really want this to go in, out, out. In. I don't understand it. This happened before too. I didn't understand how to do it. I'm not doing something quite right. Let's turn that off. Now let's go out. In. In. Out. I don't get it. Okay, well, we absolutely murdered that. I don't know... What? Could it be true? I wasn't paying attention at all, and guess what? Because I am just lucky, our fuel tank ran out with us still 475,000, apoapsis. This is not, periapsis is not what we wanted. That's fine. We're still going to get where we need to go, because we do have plenty of juice left in the tank. So let me go ahead and hit X first of all. We can turn this engine back on, which is still functional. So there we go. We have 1,400 left, which is, yeah, just a ton. Let's turn this off, though, because I don't know what's going on with this. Okay, that's fine. Can you go in? It's working now. Great. Then turn it off. Okay, good. Actually, we're going to want them... excuse me. We're going to want them on in a moment. Because I'm going to want to burn with this engine, and that one's going to create electric charge for us. We don't really care about this. So, okay. Now that we have time to kill, let's take a moment to investigate the fallout of all the previous 2 episodes, what my intentions were, and what ended up happening, which much to my chagrin. means that we're going to have to launch a second mission on this. The contract. Let's go to the contract. In fact, let's just go right to the Space Center and investigate this at the source here in the contract center. Because I'm very frustrated by this. Here is the mission that we are trying to complete. Explore the Mun. Now, I want to set a little background first. I think this is probably... I'm pretty sure this is obvious to everyone who is already watching this. But just in case people who are not familiar with Apollo 11, and I'm not like an expert or anything, I barely know the details, but I know enough to know that this is Apollo 11. Okay, that's my claim. That's my hypothesis. Anyway, there's 3 events that they wanted us to do here. They wanted us to plant a flag on the Mun. I'm saying them in a particular order. Plant a flag on the Mun, rendezvous 2 vessels, and then dock 2 vessels. If you know anything about Apollo 11, it was the mission to land on the Moon. It was actually the one where, we had Michael Collins, who stayed in the module orbiting the Moon. Getting them confused now. And then you had Buzz Aldrin and, oh my gosh, Neil Armstrong, the guy who infamously misspoke the famous words we all know. They went down to the Moon. Whatever. That place. They went down. Now, on the way back, they obviously rendezvoused with Michael Collins. And Michael Collins actually did some adjustment maneuvers to help meet them. I think that's what happened. Otherwise, he was... I read a little bit about him, and now it's in my brain. I can't remember if he did adjustment maneuvers or he didn't. Regardless, they rendezvoused and they docked. So this appears to be trying to tell you, hey, you can do... And it's obvious. I think this kind of mission, this contract, is set up to be done in a single mission. So it appears to me, I can't imagine how it would be done otherwise, that they want you to do this all in one mission as like an Apollo 11 type thing, which means that what I have done, I can't understand why it would not satisfy the contract. Sorry, I don't want to spend too much time bogging down on this, but in my opinion, there's something wrong here. There's just clearly something wrong. Because we didn't get credit for the mission. And that means we're going to have to launch another one. I don't even know what will qualify. There are a few things that I wanted to be cautious about, careful about. One was the fact that we had the probodobodyne turned off. And maybe that is still the issue. Maybe it doesn't count the dock, unless you did the rendezvous. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. That's typically not how these Kerbal Space Program missions work. Each one is kind of its own independent thing. But if that's the case, then maybe we would have to have solar panels and we'd be fine and all that. Anyway, that didn't happen, right? So, okay, fine. What if we had turned the probodobodyne on? Would it have worked? I don't know. What if they actually need you to have a crew member in the other vessel? What if the 2 vessels have to both be crewed? Well, anyways, one of the options I think I just eliminated was, what if you needed to have control over it while it was docked? That I just had the probodobodyne under control. We were able to maneuver the vessel and everything, but then docking again did not have an effect. And I don't know if 5 meters or whatever it was enough to trigger the docking, or if they were still considered one vessel. I was able to toggle back and forth between them, but again, maybe that wasn't enough. Anyways, we're just gonna have to launch another mission to do this, is the long and short of it. But I'm happy to take responsibility for my own failures. Obviously, I had many failures in the last couple of episodes, even throughout the whole series. That's why it's titled Happy Little Accidents. But I would point the finger at KSP for this. Not that there's, it's not a perfect game. It's a very good game, but it's not perfect. But this is definitely, I would say, a failure on KSP's part to properly explain this contract. They don't tell you should be using 2 different vessels. They don't tell you that both of them have to be crewed, manually crewed, with Kerbals, not probes. They don't tell you what this means exactly, because I did technically, from a very vast distance apart, bring 2 vessels together, and then, the only idea I have is that maybe either they both have to be crewed, or in my head it seems more likely that because the probe was dead, it's not giving me credit. Okay, so that's enough rambling on. We'll just have to design a new mission and get on with it, which is a little unfortunate that we're going to waste a little bit of time doing that, but let's at least bring the Odysseus I back, because Jebediah deserves to go home after what just a crazy journey for him. Yeah, but otherwise we didn't get the contracts finished the way I would have wanted them. So we have 57,000 for planting the flag. That is one of the contract things. We also get the milestone for that, which is a little bit more money and barely any science. I think it was 5 science for the first one, 2 for this. Science is not going to be really part of the deal here. Anyways, let's go ahead and accelerate to the very end of this, which will put us probably about at the apoapsis. Yeah, almost exactly at the apoapsis, which means we're going to start a burn retrograde when that happens. That's not what I wanted. Let me cancel that. I think that one's getting messed up. I don't know why this canceling thing isn't working. There we go. So I had a maneuver here. Let's go retrograde until we're basically inside of the atmosphere. That's not enough. Keep going. $108, getting closer. 65 is decent. 20 might be a little too much. Yeah, 35. I would take 35. I'd just maybe target 35, 58. Okay, fine. Somewhere around here. We probably won't have fine enough control to get it exactly right anyway. But this is what we're going to target. Now we want to go back here and we want to look at... Hopefully these are all turned off. Good. So we have some charge in order to do the... Yeah, so this one's just dead. Well, let's leave it actually pinned because I might want to turn these on because when I'm burning with this one we'll just turn this one off. But this one is activated and now it has thrust limiter. I'm glad I set that thrust limiter to 0 previously. Now we can set it to 100. The only awkward thing is that we're going to be controlling this backwards. So let me control from here. I'm going to turn this on and control from there as we get closer to the burn. But let's fast forward to the burn because we're not that far off from it. And really all we need to do is go retrograde. But the thing is, I think retrograde is actually prograde for us. So we'll control from the Probodobodyne and that should make everything better. Alright, let's turn this on and control from here. There we go. And then let's go retrograde. I'm not sure why they're doing it that way. Oh my god, we have no... Alright, well we're gonna have to rely on the engines for this then. First of all, let's open these 2 up so that we get a little. Now, I'm just gonna use the thing here. I'll push her back over there. Alright, pretty good. 0.5. Where did that leave us at? 55. Perfect. Basically perfect. Exactly where I wanted to be. Sweet. Oh, no, we need to quickly turn these off. Oh, we only got 1.7 into this one, but we got 7 into our battery. I think the battery can transfer power in and out faster. Anyway, this is not great. I guess I would have preferred more power in the command pod, but supposedly if I do something like this... Well, we're controlling from here. Let's control back from the command module. Can we control from there but actually be controlling from here? I guess this is a question. Toggle torque. What does that mean? Let me turn off your wheel authority. Hibernation is on. Just hibernated, I guess. What will that do? I don't know. It'll slow down the electric charge usage. We have a Kerbal in there, so he can control it anyway. I kind of wish you could vent the monopropellant in space. I think that would be a nice thing to do. Just like get rid of it. That way you could just save yourself a little bit of space if you accidentally have it. Or if it was left over. I feel like that's something that they might do. And, well, I guess if you're going to say vent, then you should say, well, in which direction, because it might be propulsion. Or maybe they have one which is like a perfectly radially symmetric release of pressure, so it's a zero, net zero effect. Anyway, enough talking about all this. The next burn that we want to do is probably going to be around here. Let me just warp to this point. And then our goal is going to be burn off a lot of speed. We don't need to burn it all off, but we do want to burn off some. And let's face retrograde, which means I'm going to have to turn on this. That's a lot. Just do it this way. And I'm going to rely on this trick again. Okay, good. So we're basically retrograde, and we'll start the engines up. We'll turn these on again, very close, so that I can get that charge into the batteries. I want to do this right before I hit the atmosphere, but basically I want to wait until I'm practically hitting the atmosphere. I don't expect that this is going to be the loop which takes us in. Notice that we're at 1 day, 1 hour. I think, what is it? 4 hours is one Kerbal day? I forget. But we're at like over 4 hours. I think we're at 5 hours if it is 4 hours per day. And we're going to be, I think we will soon be at like less than an hour even after this burn. I'm not sure we're going to burn off, well, we're not going to burn off 1400 delta V here. So that's for sure. But, so we want to do this one and that. We're getting close to 70,000. I do want to do this before 70,000, so let's go ahead and do it. Try to do it manually. We are killing off a lot of speed, which is nice. I don't want to kill off so much though that we don't loop. Yeah, we're already at 35 minutes. This might have been too much. 40,000. We might not come back from this. I probably should just give it everything and just, we're not going to come back from this. This will be the first and only re-entry. Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be that now. Yeah, definitely. So we're just going to give all of this, and then we're going to rotate and we're just going to cut loose. And hopefully Jebediah survives through all the mess. Okay, so let's undock. Alright. Have this guy control. We do need control. Come on, control from here. Where's your battery? Turn it on. Okay, rotate. 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 Okay, switch over. This one, good, good, good. We're moving by it. Yes, good. And now, separate. I mean this. Separate. Decouple. Now, trigger retrograde. Alright. Woof! It worked. Oh, and we got 50. We got all of the charge we need. So now all of these parts are nicely going to burn up. So it's kind of nice. Actually, we're going to be landing pretty close to Kerbal Space Center in the end. Definitely not my intention, but it works out. Yeah, and so because of... yeah, I mean, that was actually perfect. And people who are wondering, this one does not have a heat shield, but it just has high thermal not resistance, but high thermal... It can handle a high thermal load. I'm not sure the exact engineering terminology. I think that might be the right way of saying it. It can handle a high amount of heat. Let's just put it that way. So we can see that we're already down below 1,000, which is kind of like the magical number. If you're below it, I find that even like 1,100 on some of the ones, if they're pointing in the wrong direction, you just can't get below it. But 1,000, I usually find that I'm successful if I get to 1,000. So that means that this is going to be mission successful in the end. And Jebediah, like I said, he's earned it. So 20 minutes just to finish off this mission. We know how this is going to go now. I can even deploy the parachute. So what I'm going to do is just pause the video and splash. Okay, so let's do our usual... I don't know if there's anything to do from this, but we'll take our crew report. We'll EVA, we will take a surface sample, EVA, just do all the things. Board, I don't think any of that matters. We'll recover the vessel, and we'll see what the result of it all is. We'll do a little math on how much money I think we gained money overall. It was basically like 65,000 or so, so that was definitely more than the cost, but... Okay, we got 35 science back, that's nice. We recovered 2,000 worth of parts. Let's call it, I called it 2,000, but let's call it really 1,900. Jebediah did not get a star, so I don't know how you gain more XP beyond landing on the Mun, planting a flag and all that. I thought planting a flag on the Mun might have given him more XP. I'm just going to have to look into that. Just have to do it. Because we do want him to get extra XP so that he can do the, target the maneuver nodes instead of targeting these prograde or retrograde or all that, which is kind of useful, but it would be more useful if we could also target the maneuvering nodes. Anyways, let's look at the Odysseus I. This one is 36,500. Okay, now I, in anticipation of this, already made what I want to do. I guess I can remake it real fast. It's going to be called the Odysseus II. I can remake it real fast. So for the Odysseus II, what I want is a vessel, a space vessel, that doesn't have this protodyne core. That can all be jettisoned. I think that we can get rid of almost all of this, in fact. Really, all I want to do is keep the bottom portion. I don't think I'm going to keep this at all. Or this, or this, or this, or this. I do want to keep the top dock. We can flip this back right side up and turn it back facing this way. We can get rid of this. And by the way, this is my mistake. I finally found my mistake. I wanted this RCS above, or I should have had the RCS here. I had it down here so it was jettisoned with the top shell. So that was just a mistake. We will use RCS on this because I'm not going to do docking without RCS ever again. But actually what we want to do is a little bit more than that. I want to add the RCS fuel here. Okay, now we can put this back up here. And I'll probably add another one of those, but you know what? I don't know, do I want to add... I don't think we need a nose cone. Well, we don't need a nose cone below us now, because this will actually be oriented the right way to begin with. We might need a nose cone on the top. In fact, let's just do that. And for some reason, I don't know when I get the small decoupler, but I have access to this stack decoupler, which is small enough. So let's go to aerodynamics, put a tiny nose cone on. This one, I guess. Yeah, well, this one will work, sure. It just looks hideous, so I don't like it, but that's fine. We'll do it. Then we also want... what else do we want? Actually, that's looking good. Is this going to be enough fuel? I don't... okay, so first of all, I think so. I'm almost positive it will be, but just for safe measure, I'm going to add just the tiniest amount more. Or is it just prudent at this point to put this one in? Oh, let's put this one, halfway measures. Okay, yeah, so I like this. The color scheme doesn't look so bad, okay, I know it doesn't matter. Don't tell me. Aesthetics is something, though. Yeah, that looks nice. To the small, to the middle, to the large. Good. Okay, so this is the finished top part. Now we do need a decoupler again. And let's slap that bottom part on. Okay, good. So now we're in good shape, but I also don't think we need these anymore. I don't think that we need them anymore. If we wanted any of them, we could maybe just keep 2. Or probably more beneficial for us at this point would be just to put like some really light ones on, but I think we can get away with not using that at all. And instead what we're gonna do is change this for, I think 4 might still actually be enough. So we'll leave it at 4. Okay, so this is plenty of RCS. We don't need to turn this off anymore because there's no reason for it not to be used. We have no RCS on this by itself. So these two will just share the load. That's plenty of RCS, by the way. I think this is like 120, yeah. Plenty of RCS. Plenty of monopropellant, I should say. I don't know if I need this middle one. I'm going to put it in there, but we might be okay with just one. Just two will be a lot easier for everything, for like translating instead of, because obviously if I have one right here, unless I put it directly in the middle of this, at the center, if I like took this part off again, like so. Whoa, loud. And then I check the center of mass, and I put the RCS right in the middle here. This would allow us to move forward, to translate forward, back, and actually up and down as well, without adding too much rotation. But this is going to be like the best situation we can do. We can flip, we can move forward, back, up, down, and I mean we can do it whatever we want, so it's the best. For the small price, of course, of, I don't know, these aren't that expensive, right? Probably not. And I'm not expensive, I just mean, I don't care, 45, but I'm more interested in the mass. 0.04, yeah, I would say that's insignificant. So good, let's put all 8 on the top, which means this is going to be way easier to dock than last time. Oh my gosh. Still, I'm going to have nightmares about that for years to come. It's just, what an abysmal thing. And we're essentially wasting, I mean, we could definitely land this with a 1.422, but we're going to waste, 378. I'll take the 378. But look how much cheaper this thing is. And we need to put 2 of them into space, right? But because we got rid of all the landing stuff, the struts and all that, we're going to put 2 of these in space for less than the price of one Odysseus 1. So this will become the Odysseus II. And I think she's ready to go as is. And actually, you know what? No, yeah, I'm going to renege on that. We're going to go back. We can test it. We ought to test it. Let's put the structural on. Feeling pretty good about this one, actually. I don't know why. What inspired me to feel good about it. Maybe that's a bad thing. And then I think we'll have it hoisted from. Okay, we'll have it hoisted here, just above the center of mass. That's good. Zoom out. And then I guess just to cheese everything, we'll just razor on up. We'll take our 80 meters of free altitude. Okay, so Odysseus II, we will overwrite whatever I just did because it looks better with these things on the side, does it not? It's just, am I missing something? Yes. I happen to know what I'm missing. Solar panels. I'm not sure I'm going to do... I may even just do 2 solar panels. Oh, no, not those. Yeah. I may even just do 2 and use the fact that we can rotate. That looks perfect. It looks perfect. So yeah, we'll just put 2 solar panels on. I will not be getting a lot of charge from these, but they're going to be very light. They're not going to really mess around with the... They're not going to be that expensive, and I think that really that's all we need. We'll just make sure to rotate ourselves in a manner which gets, with one of these 2 solar panels gets light. Recharge, and then, I mean, we have a lot of battery power at 50. A lot of electric charge considering all we're doing, we don't have a probe core draining anything. We're just using reaction wheels. So I think that this is going to be more than enough. And I don't really think I need to add batteries or anything like that. So, famous last words, right? But Odysseus II, I think you're ready to go. So let's do it. My goal for this mission, for this episode, I should say, is we're just going to keep it short and sweet. If I can get one of these into Mun orbit, I will cut away, probably for the episode. I will leave the episode where it is. And then after that, we'll, it's not bad. It really does give some quite a lot of height. Yeah, and then after, let me revert so I can get the staging right. Once I get one of them into Mun orbit, I will cut away, put the other one into Mun orbit, and then we'll come back for the fun of trying to actually get them to align. So that looks right to me. We're also going to want this top one. One of them, which one is it? This one, to move into its own, and that one's going to actually fire before this engine does. So now we have the bottom two, which is obvious. We have that. Then we have the top, because before this engine engages, we should be in space, so let's get rid of that before that happens. And then at the completion of our mission, we'll do this, and then finally yeah, all looks good now. So let's launch again. So that means, by the way, that we're going to have two different people on these missions. Jebediah's going to do it first, and then let me actually do the harder one first. Jebediah's going to go second, or maybe someone else, but let's get, oh man, he's so close to level 2. But yeah, we're going to put, Valentina in? Let's put Valentina in for the first one, and then we'll probably do like Bill or Bob. I mean, we'll do one of these two guys. And I need to look up what the heck constitutes experience in the game so I can get us to 2 stars. It would be great. Really important to get to level 2 so that we can have the advantage of following those maneuver nodes. Anyway, so we saved it and we'll launch. So Valentina already has the level 1, which means this is not going to be the harder one, so that means I will revert again. So we can change her out for someone else. So the hardest one is going to be, who do we want to do? Do we want to do the engineer or the scientist? I think we want the scientist, because there might be some like collect science type things we want to do. Anyway, this will be a little bit more challenging because we won't be able to do a prograde or retrograde. I'll just rely on the maneuver nodes, and we'll, in our heads, be thinking whoever comes next, which is Valentina, the one you won't see. Valentina is going to be the one who will probably end up with a little bit of extra delta V. One, because she'll have access to prograde, retrograde, but also because I will be doing it for the second time, so I assume I'll just be more efficient at whatever we're doing here. Anyway, let's we can't do SAS. Well, that's okay. Well, good luck to us, Bob. We need that Z up, otherwise we're just going to fall to the ground. Otherwise, here comes Odysseus II, trying to complete what Odysseus I could not. In 3, 2, 1, blast off. So if this is not a very stable craft, by the way, we're going to have like huge problems, because no SAS. She is drifting a little bit. I'm going to switch over to blue. But she's drifting over to the direction I would like her to, so I'm not going to be... Whoop. No, that's very wiggly. Yeah, this will be a little bit difficult. I'd say this is going to be a challenge. And we're going pretty slow too, so this thing might be a little bit slow. It might benefit from a couple of solid rocket boosters. Just as soon as we get out of the atmosphere... Yeah, this is terrible without SAS. I probably should have not used Bob. What I should have been doing instead is something like just put a... Like save Bob and his, get his experience up on a mission where I can just put a probe core on. Anyway, this I don't think is going to be that inefficient, because we are going to make our turn over. Yeah, we're at 20,000 apoapsis. Let's just go all the way over. Oh my god, that's okay, not great. But let's go over to 45 degrees at this point. We're not quite out of the heavy atmosphere, which I would call right about now. Well, I guess that's like the medium atmosphere. We're in the light atmosphere now. So we'll stick at like 45 degrees. Wish I could use SAS, but let's... Alright, I'm just going to hold it here. In fact, I guess I quickly have to know... Okay, we're at 52, so that means we're going to escape the atmosphere pretty quickly, so I'm going to start keeling over even more. We're almost out of fuel. And I'm just going to spacebar this thing right away. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Wow, not bad. Not bad. Got 92,000, 1,500. Okay, I think this is reasonable. I'm going to try to stop us from turning. I don't know why we're turning. And we still have reaction wheel too, so we don't. But we have so much monopropellant, we can go ahead and do this. In fact, I could probably just burn. If you use monopropellant as an accelerant. But no need to do that. As soon as we're out in space, I'll do a quick that thing to stop me from rotating. And now let's go ahead and burn. Are we too early? Yeah, a little bit too early. So we'll end up burning, you know, that way when we get a little closer. So we have 3,100. Again, we have a lot because I added that little bit extra, and I think we did this before without something like that on here. Electric charge just hasn't really been used at all. Can probably turn off RCS and save that. Because now we're in good shape. We're in really good shape. We'll just use the electric charge, which will be regenerated when we get the sun, which I guess is behind the Kerbal or Kerbin right now. That's fine. Not too surprising. Oh, well, I do have one ask of RCS. If you could just rotate me up or down. Actually, let's go left. Just so we can get out of the way of that ding-dong node. This is so cool, though. So much easier to do what you want to do with RCS like this. And is it time? Way more than time. Let's go. Left that behind without crashing into it, which is nice. Okay, but now let's make this happen. Guess I can do this and just use RCS to continue to accelerate. Is it helping? 43, 45, 50. 9, 10, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's good. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's faster. It's definitely faster. How are we doing? Oh, we already passed. Okay, so this is not a great burn. This is going to be a little bit inefficient, and we're not even over 2,000 yet. Unfortunately, this thing is not super powerful, although it is super efficient. Maybe we shouldn't burn more than, like... We'll burn down... I mean, 60 is still a ton of monopropellant, but we'll burn down to, like, maybe 80. I'm angling up now because I realize we're going to start falling back down, and I want to counter that as much as possible. Alright, we'll stop that. Turn off RCS. The less you have to do to counteract your falling in gravity, the better, but here we are. No, more, more. Alright, there we go, 71,000. Okay, so we got an apoapsis to 130, which is not great. Actually, there's the MUN right there, so we can probably do our real maneuver momentarily. So let's just line that up and go. We have 2,400. Wow, we have plenty. Oh my gosh, we have plenty. More than enough. More than enough. So, although this is going to be pretty inefficient, and we are going to be off by a little bit. Is it down that I want to go? No. Trying to figure out if I can get this burn to be down or up. Yeah, no, not really. I just, I'll have to angle it. When we're on the way there, we'll have to angle it. Anyway, let's do this burn way out. That's a lot. And you can see even that, like, crazy amount is not... Something like this, as long as we get the angle right. There it is. Alright, we're crashing into the MUN, so that means we're really set. Even at, yeah, 800 is what we're expecting. This is 77. Let's go over here and just advance a little bit of time. This is 77. Oh, now we're crashing into it, so back off a little more. 150. Let's go forward one. 58. Seems perfect, actually. 24. Okay, we're back out. 57. 38. 23. 22. Okay, so we're right there. We're right there. In fact, this is perfect. I'll just do this exactly. Just accelerate to this node. We're ready to go. Yeah, and by the way, we're now in the sun. Our electric charge is working! Hooray! I don't know which one of these two is getting charge. Ah, there it is. Just enough. We could rotate towards because it doesn't really matter, but actually what we're going to do is probably miss both of these. Let's get our maneuver lined up. We're going in 38 seconds. Now since this is a 1 and 11 second burn, it's a long burn obviously. So if we get it a little bit wrong, it shouldn't make that big of an impact. Such a long burn means that a minor thing should be correctable. And I keep trying to use SAS, but yep, we don't have it. Anyway, 10 seconds and then we'll be on our way, hopefully, to the Mun. We're still actually getting a little bit of charge from the oblique sunlight. 3, 2, 1, go. And off to the Mun we go! How nice! The angle's not quite right. See, we're coming a little bit up, which is why I wanted to burn a little bit, like, down. I might mess with that in the middle, or we just have a 22,000 periapsis, we just don't mess with it. Pretty close, but maybe a little bit off. Okay, we're using blue. I think we mostly just need to burn prograde though. Even if the blue leaves the circle a little bit. Let it go, let it go. And then we'll just make minor corrections here. Okay, we're at 154. This is getting less. I was losing it. Oh, 6,000. That might be a little bit close. I think we'll go ahead and spin around and just fire momentarily retrograde to slow that down a little bit. Pull that away just a smidge. 26,000, much better. Okay, good. So now the next maneuver for us is going to be to the Mun. This is great. And I want to focus view on the Mun. Alright, so we have a pretty close orbit. Add a maneuver here. And thank goodness we're actually going to have, well, 1600 we see. We're going to have plenty of delta V left to get these two orbits. We're going to have to do some alignment, plane alignment of the orbits. These are obviously not good where it is right now. But yeah, I am going to rely on the one who comes next to do that more than this one. And although we have an orbit which is established at, oops, at only 80? Yeah, 75. We only need 75 to establish orbit. But every meter per second beyond 75, or like beyond 80, I mean, we can only have 5 meters per second beyond 80 as a cushion for the difference between them if one ends up going slower, before we are no longer in a Mun orbit. And I really want to make sure that we meet the contract requirements here. Still not exactly sure what it is, but it says 2 Dock-2 vessels on or around the Mun. Rendezvous 2 vessels in the orbit of the Mun. So I really want to make sure that we're in orbit of Mun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one down by... So it's at 80, and then I'm going to take it to 120, which will give me 40 meters per second of wiggle room that if one of them ends up going 40 meters per second faster than this, like has a faster orbit, that'll still be an orbit. At 45, this will no longer be an orbit. Now we will be on a, you know, not suborbital, but extraorbital. We'll be just passing by. You know, we'll just be under the influence for a little bit. We'll probably take a corrective action at that point and eventually end up back in an orbit. But again, just to make sure that we're always within the orbit. In fact, I'm going to go down to 130 even, just to be very, very safe about this. So that's the orbit we're going to do. I may even do this off camera. I think this suffices for the episode. So I'll bring you back when this one's in orbit, just doing exactly what I'm doing here. And then I've brought up Valentina, and she's come over here, and she's also in an orbit. And then we'll worry about trying to align them and dock them and all that in the next episode. So I guess that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and take care.